Postgame here at Neyland Stadium after Tennessee gets the win over the Florida Gators 38-33. He is Josh Ward, co-host of Josh and Swain on 99.1 The Sports Animal and Vince Ferrara. And, you know, it wouldn't be Tennessee football, seemingly, if it didn't have some drama at the end. Tennessee really having to hang on to win this game. But the bottom line is Tennessee got it done in front of a packed house with Checker Neyland. Some big picture thoughts from you, Josh.
Vince, first of all, I have a bunch of text messages in my phone ahead of time saying there's no way we get this onside kick. They knew that Florida was going to get the onside kick, and I think most of them thought that they were going to hit a Hail Mary or some kind of weird play that was going to result in a touchdown because Tennessee fans have experienced everything else. But in the end, Tennessee got to stop there. There's a lot of things to work on the defensive side, but on the offensive side, Hendon Hooker is the story. Everything that he was able to do, everything within the offense. And the offense drove through him with Cedric Tillman not being available. And other players stepped up. Big catch down the right sideline for Ramel Keaton. Brew McCoy was big. Several plays from Jalen Hyatt. Jabari Small with a big run where he made a defender miss and picked up a bunch of extra yardage. So a lot of guys stepped up offensively to make plays, but it was all led by Hendon Hooker. It was a huge performance. It's the kind of performance that Tennessee fans will talk about for a long time, will always remember, because it came against Florida, a game that fans were looking forward to, a series that Tennessee has struggled in. They didn't struggle this time because of Hendon Hooker.
No, and it's one of those games where, look, if Tennessee does some special things, people are going to point to this game in terms of his Heisman candidacy.
Yes.
And I know he was kind of a long shot going into the year, but it's that kind of statement performance. CBS saying that Hendon Hooker, only the second quarterback in Tennessee history to top 300 passing yards and 100 rushing yards in a game. The only other one was Josh Dobbs, and he did it twice. Wouldn't surprise me if Hendon Hooker does that again or another time after that.
Yeah, I mean, he's not flawless, but he's darn close.
Right.
You know, the efficiency that Hendon Hooker's able to play with and his playmaking ability. So he makes the big plays, makes the smart plays. He has the ability to get out of a situation that would turn difficult for most quarterbacks, but he makes it look like it was an easy play. It's just one person, but Robert Griffin III, right after the game, was talking about Hendon Hooker as a Heisman leader. Now, that's just one person, but that is one person with a vote. Right. And it's a guy that people listen to. So it's a statement, but it was a big stage, and that's where this comes from. It's a long way to go in that conversation, obviously. But what Hendon's doing, I think, has instilled confidence in the offense, in the team, the fan base for sure. And Tennessee's 4-0 with a chance to heal up a little bit, to get ready for LSU. That's not going to be easy. The schedule honestly gets tougher. This is not the best Florida team. And defensively, they made Florida probably look better than that team is on the offensive side. But you had to get the win. The offense was terrific. Could have done more, and that's what Josh Heupel is going to see. And you know what? When they get Cedric Tillman back, that'll help them be able to do more.
Yeah, really didn't have as many opportunities because of Florida converting so much and going forward on fourth down.
Florida ran 87 plays on offense.
Right.
So that was a huge part of it, and that's where the things you're trying to work on, the negatives, that's where it's going to come from, is all the fourth down conversions. 15 times Florida had a third down on offense. 12 times they ended up picking up a first down because of either a third down or fourth down conversion.
Yeah, 1,170 combined yards by these two teams. Insanity. So, yes, a lot to work with, but a lot to work on. But Tennessee got the W to move to 1-0 in the SEC play, 4-0 overall on the season. Last thing on Hooker, Jabari Small saying that he told Hooker in the huddle, man, you're special. I mean, that's in the middle of the game. Basically, he's a fan.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just insane. All right. The 99-yard drive at the end of the first half.
Massive.
Pretty big. Yeah.
Massive. I don't know that Tennessee wins the game without it. And Florida, Florida kind of helped because they call a timeout on third down, which forced Tennessee to try to pick up the first down. They do, and they say, okay, let's go. And they make big plays, and they have a big play at the end. And you never know how a game plays out the rest of the way based on one drive or one result. But to get a score and then be able to come out in the second half and get a score. Any coach will tell you the end of the first half, the start of a second half can really swing a game, and it did. It went from Florida feeling like, okay, we're in a pretty good spot here going into the half to coming out of the half, Tennessee taking control and really putting pressure, and that affected the way Billy Napier was making calls, going for two later in the game. He's not having to do that if Tennessee has not scored a touchdown to close things out in the first half. So it's massive, and we'll never know if Tennessee would have won the game or not without it. Fans are glad they don't have to find out.
Yeah, no doubt. You know who else also helped? Billy Napier.
Yeah.
I obviously, at the end of the game, you had to go for 2 to try to get to within 3. But why the 2-point try before that?
Well, I think it's a math thing, and you can still argue it even with that. He goes for 2 to try to make it 9, so that if Tennessee comes down and scores a touchdown, which honestly I understand why he might expect that to happen, because Tennessee was doing it every time they wanted to, as long as they didn't turn the ball over, and then that would make it 16 points, so it's still a 2-score game. Look at Browns-Jets from a week ago. On the flip side, though, if you're able to get a stop and you come down, well, if you had gotten a point earlier, that helps your math to where you can cut it to 3 in case, hey, you get an onside kick and you're trying to kick late. So missing on those two-point conversions. Going for the first one, though, in hindsight, I'm sure that Billy Napier would like to have it back.
Yeah, and he had that personal foul penalty. Well, he had the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty or whatever on the sideline that moved it half the distance. Gave him a new set of downs for Tennessee.
The only 4th down Florida didn't get was on that first drive when that was a manageable field goal attempt, and that is very early. But I think that comes back to Hendon Hooker and the offense. I think Billy Napier's mindset was, we're going to have to score a ton of points. And I would have kicked the field goal there. It's so early. You're going to have more chances to score. He probably, I'll bet if he were being honest, I wouldn't expect it. He'd say, I'm surprised we had that many opportunities in the red zone. I'm surprised we scored that many touchdowns, considering how things have been going for Anthony Richardson, he put up far more passing yards in this game than he had in his 3 games combined. So that comes back to what Tennessee has to work on defensively. But the way Billy Napier coached the game, I think, was greatly influenced by what Hendon Hooker and Josh Heupel's offense are able to do.
All right, still a ton of stuff from this game, and I know you guys will break it down all day on 99.1 The Sports Animal starting on Monday, and even with Sunday Sports Sound Off with Jimmy and Judge Irwin. But what else is important, do you think, for our viewers and our listeners from this game that you want to point out?
Well, I think the secondary performance and issues they had defensively and getting off the field. I mean, the long touchdown down the right sideline after Anthony Richardson's pass with the missed tackles. Yeah. I mean, that's a big part of it as well. With Richardson, he's such a big, strong athlete. That was clearly on display. I don't think anybody questioned that ability that he has, but coverage and missed tackles is something to think about. And Warren Morrell's a guy that was unavailable, and in previous games where he's had some issues, I think fans said want to see somebody else, and there's still plenty of potential in the secondary and playmaking ability from somebody like Kamal Hadden, but he'd like to get some of those missed tackles back for sure. Yeah, some guys got banged up, hadn't left a game and came back. We didn't see a whole lot of Tyler Barron. I don't think he started the game, and he was really subbed out a lot as they really used a lot of defensive linemen. Joshua Joseph made a big play. Yep. That's a guy that we're going to see more of as this season goes along, freshman defensive end edge rusher. All right. Josh Ward, Josh and Swain, weekdays from noon to 3 here on 99.1 The Sports Animal, and so much coverage coming your way on 991thesportsanimal.com. That'll end it from Neyland Stadium. Tennessee beats Florida. Yes, it happened. 38-33. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll talk to you at 99.1 The Sports Animal. See ya.